Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we talk about things that interest you. This segment is called Real Estate, Home Improvement, Investing, and things you should know about when you get to that stage in your life where you want something left when you finish up. Whether you're just beginning your journey, whether you're in the middle of it, or at the end of it. We've asked an expert on this subject to come on the show today and give us his thoughts. Welcome, Brian Christopher Murphy. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we have a running dialogue going on here. What do you do with your money? What's safe? What's good? I'm the first to admit, even though I'm very well versed in a lot of things, I'm not an expert on this, and I like to turn to experts such as you and say, what do I do? Where do I start? Or how should I be finishing this journey of finances?
Okay, well, the first thing I advise you is do not put your money in the bank.
In the bank.
Why? Because inflation is going to gradually eat at it. Mm-hmm. Right now, interest rates are at like 1.5%, and they're saying that inflation's at 2.9. Well, let's say that's true. Okay, that means 2.9 minus 0.25% or 0.5%, whatever you're getting. The rest of it's being eaten up annually. So if your money's in the bank, you're losing money.
Yeah.
So my advice to people is that find another investment and do that by start with where your money is. If it's in the bank, it's in the credit union, we'll go and talk to them because they very likely have advisors and people who can tell you, where to get started. They can advise you on loans, but as well as on where to invest what money you have.
Yeah. Whether
you've got a big nest egg saved up or you've just got money for lunch tomorrow. You probably got a 401k. Mm-hmm. That's money for your retirement. You're going to have Social Security, which is being taken out of your check every week. Any savings you have, if you've done any investing in real estate or business, all that money's there for your retirement. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have something because you're going to want to retire someday.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to retire for reasons you don't have control of. Could be injury, could be illness, and that could happen at any age. So retirement's not guaranteed.
Right.
35% of the population does not make it to age 50. And for many people, it seems retirement's not an option, but it is there. And there are low, no-cost ways to get out there and invest. And, we don't teach finance in our schools, and that's a shame because we really should. But fortunately, there are people like myself who are teaching, and there have been many, many, many people. Do you remember Carlton Sheets back in the 80s who was telling everybody how to invest in real estate? And today, we still have a lot of people. And two classic books I always recommend to people are Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You may have heard of him. And Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Those are two classics written 20, 30 years ago, even pre-internet.
Yeah.
And so I always advise people, start your journey there. Those two books are major eye-openers where I started learning about finance and investing because we are taxed to death in this country on everything. Yeah. We really are. And we're regulated to death in business. No matter what business you're in, the regulations are unbelievable.
Right.
And if you're a DOD contractor like I am, oh my God, government regulation, especially the Federal Acquisitions Register, that's what they should give insomniacs who don't respond to heavy medication. Trust me, if you're having trouble sleeping at night, read some government regulations and be out like light.
Well, let me ask you this. Say there's a kid starting out. He's got his first big job out of college, and he's saved up $10,000 and it's just sitting in the bank. What do you think he ought to do with that?
Well, he's got $10,000 in the bank, and he's not got any student loans.
Yeah.
Then really, it's kind of what are you more suited to? What's more suited? What is better? Are you more of a risk taker? Well, you can get into real estate in ways that don't involve a lot of risk.
Yeah.
There's other ways that do involve more risk, but I feel like real estate is probably one of the safest and has made more millionaires
Yeah.
than ever because they're not making any more land. You know, you can invest in raw land, you can invest in residential property, uh, commercial, industrial. You know, what level of risk can you tolerate?
Yeah.
And if you're not risk tolerant and you are risk averse, well, there's plenty of investments you can get into that are very low risk.
Mm-hmm.
Government investments like T-bills, treasury bills, CDs, bonds, those are typically pretty safe and typically pay at least 5%.
Yeah. Rather than just
So,
letting it sit in the bank, may as well
right,
lock it up into something that's a little less liquid, I guess.
right, put it into something. The problem with that is you're locking the capital up.
Yeah.
You know, the first real estate investment I made with just $100 out of pocket, and this was during or after the 2008 crisis when there was foreclosures everywhere. I bought a property for $55,000 that was appraised at $121,000.
Uh-huh.
Only thing it needed was GFI plugs in the kitchens and baths and the deck railing rebuilt. This was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home on a corner lot in a very nice neighborhood. And I got it with $100 out of pocket.
Now, what year was this?
I got a ton of capital, take any major risks. You
Yeah.
know when you go into a real estate deal what your risks are,
Yeah.
and you have until the day of closing to back out of
Yeah.
that, provided you put in the purchase contract contingencies such as contingent to inspection, contingent upon being able to gain financing. And if you're pre-approved for a loan already, and by the way, first-time home buyer, that applies to anybody that does not currently own any real estate. Even if you have owned a home before, you still qualify for first-time home buying assistance, provided you do not currently own any real estate.
Right. Let me give you another scenario. Now, our viewers are not very sophisticated investors. That's why we bring experts such as you on the show, so we can learn something. I have a friend who makes pretty good money, and he's doubling up on his house payments. He says, I'm going to pay it off in 15 years or whatever. He has a 2% mortgage. You think that's a good use of his money?
Yeah, for that, you know, if you can get a mortgage at 2%, rock on, my friend, because I remember a time, you know, at 58 years old, I remember a time when all interest rates, whether it was home or auto, were double digit.
Yeah.
But they're single digit and you have a mortgage at 2?
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, he got the mortgage quite a few years ago, but he is a good use of his money to pay off that 2% mortgage faster, or should he put that money into another investment and keep the 2%?
Well, I always advise going 30-year, even if you can afford 10 or 15. That way it gives you plenty of room in case of a job change or a period of unemployment.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself a safety net. You know, go 30, but make 10-year or 15-year mortgage payments, and then you're paying extra. And if your lender allows it, do weekly payments rather than monthly payments. And that way, in the course of a year, you're making an extra month's payment.
Yeah.
And make sure that the payment applies to principal at the time of payment. Because sometimes they'll do weekly payments, but they don't only apply it once a month.
Yeah.
That's still going to save you. In the course of a 30-year mortgage, if you actually hold on to it that long and never move, well, you'll have shaved 7 years off of that mortgage. You will actually pay it off in 23.
Wow.
So that's a good way to go. And again, if you're paying on it quicker, well, you're going to pay it off even sooner. And you can get in for as little on a home that you occupy. Sometimes as little as 3% down.
3%
or like
down,
I
yeah.
say, I did it on an FHA loan with just $100 down. They were offering a special incentive at that time, but they still do that today with the economy. Again, shop around different lenders. You know, see who offers the best rates, best terms. You know, go that route, but start with your bank as far as investing advice, what you do with your money, I would say, don't put it in the bank. Put it into something to where you're hedged against inflation at least. And like I say, there are a lot of investments out there don't require credit, don't require a lot of money. If you've got at least a 650 credit score, you're good. If you're 700 or better, you're gold. There are very few loan products that require you to have a credit score higher than that.
Yeah.
If you're over 740, you're platinum.
Nice.
But rarely does anything require a 740 or better. However, I believe if you're at 710 or better, they don't require income verification. It's more of a signature loan.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on the lender, and it will depend on your state where you are. And I know Central Valley is California. And of course, your tax rates are among the highest out there, California and New York. But again, check, and your team behind you needs to be an accountant, a lawyer, and a lender. The accountants keep up with the changes in the tax code, which are annual and always ongoing, local, state, federal, and then a lawyer to keep up with legal changes because, again, those are always changing. I'm a smart enough person to know I'm not always the smartest. And so I have people who are better than I am at those things. I'm terrible when it comes to taxes and legal. Again, they're always changing. You can't be keeping up with it.
No, you can't.
That's what I advise to people.
Now, Brian, I know you have a YouTube channel that's starting to grow, and we have it on the screen, Brian Christopher Murphy. Just go to youtube.com/Brian Christopher Murphy. But also you have a web address that's on the screen. Tell us about the website. What will our viewers find there? And by the way, our viewers are from all over the country, all over the world, really.
Great. Not just Central Valley then. My company website, I'm still working on it, kind of revamping it because it was leaning more towards the construction brokers, whereas now it's leaning more towards the advisory group. And we're a global group of advisors. It's not just me and a handful of people. We're a global network of companies, that can provide you advice, action. Primarily what my company does is transportation, supply chain, logistics, because that's what I've done in my career. I started in the military at 19, and been at it ever since. And from the battlefield to the boardroom, I enlisted in 86. From the battlefield to the boardroom, I've never wavered in my commitment to excellence and service to my country. One of my company logos is Veterans in Business, Still Serving America. I had that on my website. I need to get it back up again. I'm really just starting to embrace social media and its impact because I saw many years ago and was in fact on the cover of Forbes for that vision because I watched the computer revolution happen and I saw what it held for our future. And then two other things I do. I promote unity, because we really need that in this country. If we're to survive, we have to reunite. I really hoped COVID would do that for us because when we face an existential threat that threatens us all, we do that naturally as Americans. We do come together. Look at 9/11. We all came together. We started being nicer to each other and helping each other. I went through Katrina. I lived in Biloxi before I lived in Vicksburg. And everybody came together. We helped each other. And it was amazing because in 10 days' time, with help from line crews all over the country, we had the entire coast powered back up to everyone who was capable of receiving power. That is America at its finest.
Took a lot of cooperation.
That's why we are proud and why we're about to celebrate our independence. So perfect. And something I would like to invite people to do is, there's an Independence Day group. Let me tell you real quickly. Just send a card of thanks to, and it's going to go to Wounded Warrior Project Donor Care Center, P.O. Box 758517, Topeka, Kansas. I don't know if you can hold that up there. There's the address.
That's
And just send a card, a thank you, and they will forward that to a veteran this Independence Day. And I wanted to put
Wounded
that out
Warrior
there too.
Project. Thanks for mentioning it. Brian, we're pushing our time limit here, but I could talk to you all day. You're very insightful about things.
I'm more than happy to come back.
Any last thoughts to our viewers? Anything you'd like
to
anything you'd like to share with our viewers? Any last thoughts?
Mainly just, send we tell our veterans thank you. Well, send them a nice card and say thank you.
Very good.
Check out my channel and my company website. They're still kind of being worked on because I'm just getting started embracing newer technologies. But, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Well, you gave me some hope that somebody just starting out or somebody's been at it a while, there's a better place to put your money if you take the time to check it out. So thank you, Brian. And I hope to have you back again and again.
Okay, great. I welcome, look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. For our viewers, stick around. We'll be back with more right after this.